right, guys, today we are drawing the polar bear that will go on our plaid backgrounds. So you can see I have this blue circle here that we're going to trace for our polar bear head to start. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. You guys are, of course, going to use a pencil for this. Okay, there's my polar bear head. Then you're going to make two big rainbow lines on top of his head for his ears. So one on this side and one on this side. And try to keep them somewhat even. Then you're going to do another rainbow line inside. All right, then right in the middle of his head, or maybe even a little bit below the middle, we're going to make a triangle for his nose. Then up here for his eyes, you're gonna make two curved lines and kind of try to make your curved lines start right on the outside corner of that nose that you made. So kind of like that. See how the line starts right about where that corner of my nose is? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Make it come down a little bit more. Looks like his eyes are closed, like he's smiling so big his eyes are closed right now. But then what you're going to do is you're going to add kind of like a partial circle underneath. Not the full circle because it, some of the circle is being covered by the top of that curve. And then inside of that circle, we're going to add our highlights. So let's put one up here and one down here. I like to put two highlights in each eye. Then you're going to take the outside of those curved lines that you made to start the eyes, and you're going to connect them down to the nose. Like that. To make your little bear mouth, you're going to make a backwards J, and then make that curve come off the other side as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in the inside of my ears. I'm gonna do this for my ears, my nose, and my eyes because they should all be black. And then remember, for the eyes, you want to leave the small little highlights white, but then color in the rest of the eye. There we go. Very, very cute. All right, now let's draw our little polar bear scarf. So what I'm going to do is, off the bottom of his head, I'm going to draw 2 curved lines that come down quite a bit, like that. I'm going to try to make them even. Then what I'm going to do is, with those slightly curved lines, I'm going to connect the 2 of them with another slightly curved line. Then we want to make the little tail of this scarf. So coming off the bottom corner here, I'm going to make a straight line that comes down a bit, and another one a little bit further over. And I always like to add fringe to my scarf, so I'm going to put some fringe at the bottom. And if you'd like, you can add some kind of pattern to your scarf. You can draw stripes, or you can draw some kind of shape. I kind of want to add a checkerboard pattern. So the way you do that is you draw vertical lines, and then you draw horizontal lines. I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I gave him a little checkerboard scarf. You can do that, like I said, if you want, or you can do some other kind of pattern or design for your scarf. Now we need to do the rest of his body. So I'm going to take the corner of his scarf, and I'm just going to make a curved line that goes off the bottom of the paper somewhere. Yours might go off the paper at a different spot than mine, and that's totally fine. Next, we want to give our polar bear some texture and some fur. So what you're gonna do, and you can wait till you get your Sharpie for this, or you can go ahead and start it with your pencil. But I'm adding some little dash lines around his ears. This looks best if you kind of go in a pattern. So I start with his ears, then on his bridge of his nose, I make some dash lines. But don't try to make them too perfect, because then it looks a little weird. So maybe I'll go around his head. I'll just go around the circle. Then after going around that space for the circle, I kind of still have this open space in here, so I'll fill that in. Don't make the lines too long, because then it looks a little funky. Okay, so there his face is done, and now the body's pretty easy. I just kind of make lines of fur like that. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, now this is the point where you guys would go over all of your pencil lines with your Sharpie, and then you would erase any pencil lines that you can still see. Then, funny enough, you're gonna get your pencil back out, and we're gonna add some shading on our polar bear with our pencil. So right now he's all white, but we wanna add some shading. So what you're gonna do is around the edges, it doesn't have to be super nice and neat, but you can see I'm just kind of adding some pencil lines near the edge of I'm starting with my polar bear head. I'm not pressing super hard, guys, because shading with pencils doesn't work very well when you press very hard. But then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take, I don't need this big of a piece, you're gonna take a piece of paper towel. I like to wrap it around my finger like this, and then you take that and blend it inwards a little bit. And don't worry if you kind of go outside of your black line, because we're gonna cut these out. You shouldn't be able to see the marks anymore. You should kind of blend them out so you can't see the marks, which means, again, you shouldn't be pressing too hard when you're making those marks. But we're blending them out. And it's kind of light, so probably on the video it's hard to see, but you can see the edge of his head has some shading going all the way around. And I'm gonna do that not only on the edge of his head, but on the edge of his ears, around maybe his nose and mouth. And this just gives your polar bear a little bit more dimension. He won't look quite so flat. He'll look a little bit more three-dimensional. So let me show you how I'm shading again. So I'm drawing it kind of, ooh, there we go. I'm drawing it kind of like this, right? Not pressing too hard, okay? And then I'm using that paper towel to blend it out. I'm also gonna put some down the side of his body here. Maybe under beside his scarf. Okay, let's blend this out. Like I said, don't worry if you go outside of the black lines. We're gonna cut them out in just a minute. All right, now after you've done your shading, this is when you get to add color to your polar bear, because right now he's kind of, you know, all one color, and the scarf is really where we're gonna bring some color back into this. So you can decide what colors you're gonna use. Maybe I wanna do, I don't know, kind of like these two colors. So if you did a checkerboard, checkerboards, every other square is a different color. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm skipping each. So I'm skipping each one. So like on this line, it goes purple, green, purple, green, purple, green, purple, green. And then on the next line, it'll be the opposite. So basically I'm going diagonal every time. So like I just colored this square, and now I can go diagonal up to here. And I like to color stuff in with nice neat lines so it doesn't look sloppy. I'm filling in each of those squares completely for the same reason. And if you want to make your scarf match your background, your plaid background that you painted, you can kind of think of that. I just realized that as I was coloring this in, I was like, oops, this won't really match my background very well because my background is red and green. But that's okay. All right, now I'm done coloring in my scarf. It's time to cut out my polar bear. Gonna cut right on the outside of that black line. I don't want to leave any extra white paper, so I'm just gonna cut right on that line. Look at that cutie polar bear. Okay, now it's time to put it on my plaid background. Oh my goodness, guys, that is so cute. I'm gonna get my glue bottle. I think I'm gonna turn it this way. And I can do dot, dot, not a lot, all the way around the edge. Make sure you're doing the edge of your polar bear. The middle doesn't matter. Where you need that glue is on the edges, all the way around. That's how you keep it from peeling back up off your paper. Okay, now I'm going to set it down. I'm lining it up with the bottom of my paper here. If you'd like, you can turn it over and give it a bit of a massage. Oh, you guys. Look at how cute that polar bear is on his plaid holiday background. I love it so much, and I cannot wait to see your polar bears.